Hello, who are you? My name is James Johns, but you can call me Jimmy.
Dude, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just every time I introduce myself to people, I have to be like, my name is James Johns, but you can call me Jimmy.
We begin our story with Amy holding a bag of groceries after she went shopping in the 0 grocery stores that exist in Station Square that we know of. She stands reminiscing about Sonic CD before seeing Eggman's big no-ship. After seeing this, she goes and finds Sonic after he gambled and lost his best friend. Following that, Amy comes to blows with Zero, the robot, and runs away from him inside of a park. This, however, is completely useless and a waste of time because after escaping him, she gets caught not 2 minutes later. After being kidnapped by Zero, she is sent up to the egg carrier. In her cell, she meets E102 Gamma, who, in reaction to talking with her, he does something. I don't really know what it is, but it's certainly something. After her having her conversation with E102 Gamma, Amy is released and then escapes Zero again from the ship. After escaping, she has a flashback to the past life that she never had. Which, by the way, I failed to mention this in the last part, but in this game, we get these flashbacks with each of the characters to these Echidna tribes from a long time ago, in an undisclosed amount of time, explaining the backstory of Chaos from the perspective of Tikal, who is our Navi of the game. These, I suppose, are mildly helpful in explaining things, but with the way they're executed and the way that they're animated, sometimes I just can't help but find these serious moments a bit comedic.
Saying in these flashbacks, like, where am I at the moment? This is not my abode. Please help me at once, someone. Please help me at once,
But you
fellow
see the problem,
citizen.
he doesn't talk here, though.
Yeah.
Why is she showing him this?
Because she's dumb.
Anyways, after that happens, we find Amy back on the roof of the ship, and we run back the cutscene with Sonic and Gamma that we saw in part 1. Following those events, Amy finds herself back in Station Square, and while as the city is about to be blown up by Eggman, as you see in Tails' story, she just runs around looking at the Bird of the Emerald, not paying attention to the dire circumstances.
You know, you sure surprised me by having a Chaos Emerald with you. No wonder they were after you, my feathered friend.
After running through Final Egg and escaping Zero one last time, she finds her way to the egg carrier that's sunken in the middle of the ocean. Zero also finds his way there and they throw hands. Amy gets the W, but it really begs the question, if she could beat him up, why wait till now? Why didn't she do this the first time? Or the second, or the third, or the I don't know how many times anymore. Although I guess they needed her to have a plot. Speaking of said plot, Amy does have a bit of character growth, which, despite the fact that I've crapped on her story this entire time, I do think her having character growth is really nice. The unfortunate part of it, however, is the fact that by the time we get to Sonic Adventure 2, and then so on, it's just completely forgotten. I really like Amy having character growth and having an arc, but 80% of her story is just cutscenes and then like 7 minutes tops of gameplay, which just bores me. So, you know, I really do enjoy Amy having character growth, but you know, the execution left a lot to be desired. But hey, it might be 7 minutes of gameplay, but the gameplay was still fun, right? Amy's first stage is Twinkle Park, which is all of 2 to 3 minutes. The stage is nothing and forgettable at best, in my opinion, but oh boy, is she awful to play as in this game. She's painfully slow, and her hammer is admittedly fun to use, but she's so slow in a game that is meant for you to go fast that it's almost unplayable. Following that, her second level is Hot Shelter, which is a level exclusive to her and the other two characters we'll be getting onto later. It's nothing to really write home about either. I don't think it's great. It's not exceptionally awful, just mediocre. Her third and final stage is Final Egg, which is not great, but considering the other two she has, this is probably her best in my opinion. As previously mentioned as well, her ending boss fight with Zero is pretty easy and underwhelming from a gameplay perspective in my opinion. Also previously mentioned, the positive of Amy is her hammer, which is honestly pretty dope, and at least lets her stand out in a positive way from the rest of the cast. She does have this spin move, which in gameplay setting, where the objective is book it as fast as you can from the clunky slow guy, having a clunky slow spinning hammer move was head scratching at best. Oh, that's right, the gameplay. Last time we really just talked about the plot and didn't actually even really review the game, did we? Let's get to that. While I'll complain about Amy's controls, and the others will certainly get to, Sonic's main control is actually pretty good. Now, by no means is it perfect, and I think the best to do it in a 3D setting would have to be Sonic Adventure 2 or Generations. There's obvious issues with the jump to the third dimension. The spin dash is insanely OP, and the homing attack, which made its debut in this game, technically, only works half the time, which caused me to die at the Egg Viper numerous times. As well, Sonic has the light speed dash making its debut in this game. While it was first implemented, I found it a bit tedious, but as you got more upgrades for Sonic, I found it to be a pretty well addition to Sonic's arsenal. It's a real shame that after SA2, the games just kind of don't really use it much anymore. Right. Gamma Story. So then, Gamma's plot. We wake up from Gamma's perspective in Robotnik space and we're instantly bossed around. Gamma goes through Sonic's final level, which is his first and final egg, where he pulls a bunch of voodoo dolls of Team Sonic and then we move on. Gamma is given orders to go into the egg carrier and he meets his older brother Beta. They're forced to throw hands and the winner is able to go into the ship. It's a bit of a squash match, but Beta casually has a cry and he gets to go anyway. The vehicle knows it's air sail, and we get going. Amy introduces Gamma to his brothers, Leonardo, Donatello, and Michelangelo. They're told to get a tail frog that's
Very unique.
as it were. Gamma blows up the beach till he finds the frog, then he has a flashback, because I too remember the robots of the olden times. Anyways, he finds the frog, as everyone else finds the wrong frog, in what is low-key the best cutscene ever.
Ah, dummies, 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 dummies! None of you got the right one! We must find the frog with Chaos's tail! That same frog has also swallowed a Chaos Emerald! Huh? Ah! There it is! Right there! I'm proud of you, Gamma!
After Ragman commits robo-murder, he assigns Gamma to go get the bird, which is with Amy. On his way, the very clunky spinning floor stops him, and he sees Beta getting repaired, which is definitely something. Gamma pulls a meat, and instead of dealing with his issues, he just represses the pain and he moves on. He sees Amy, and well, he does, well, you know. Next, he finds a weird hovering thing, then he heads back to the top of the ship. We see Sonic and Gamma doing the same cutscene again. Gamma ends up winning the fight from this perspective, and he has a clear shot to end Sonic, but he decides, nah, I'm good. He first runs through Windy Valley and takes down Leonardo. He then runs through Red Mountain and takes down Michelangelo, then wraps up with Donatello and Hot Shelter. Lastly, he takes down the souped up Beta, which gets taken down with himself. Both robots go down and the birds and the robots fly out and rejoin the bird from Amy's story. And wait. Okay, so here's the thing that I don't understand at all. So, you see the birds that fly out of all the robots in the Ian and Gamma story, and you see the other bird that goes with them in Amy's story. But there's not like there's, other birds in the Sonic universe. We have the Babylon Rogues in the Sonic Riders games. So, I'm really confused why these birds are like normal birds, at least in the Sonic context of normal birds. But then we have like the more humanoid birds like the hedgehogs are. Does that mean that there's smaller hedgehogs as opposed to the big hedgehogs? Is there some kind of animal hierarchy in the Sonic lore that we just don't know about? This very, very small detail needs far more further elaboration. When it comes to Game's gameplay, there's not much to say, to be honest. I mean, it's not inherently bad. The levels are pretty painfully short, honestly. If you take Game's control with the level design from SA2, you'd probably have the best way to do this gameplay style, in my opinion. The time gimmick is certainly an interesting idea for this one, and I'm not super opposed to it. This is honestly, more than anything, just a victim of hindsight and other games doing this idea better. Our story begins with Froggy drinking some chaos energy. He books it and then Big wakes up and gives chase. He goes to Station Square and Froggy eats a Chaos Emerald. Big flips the car, then fishes for him in a park. He gets him, but he gets away, so he fishes for him in the Arctic. He finds Tails holding a frog and he tries to take him. He fishes him on Emerald Coast, but the second he gets him, Gamma yoinks him. Big ends up on the egg carrier and fishes for him in Hot Shelter. After this, Big Loki has the most important flashback of the game, because, you know, that makes sense. Baptist Sig makes it up all the way to the top of the ship and beats Chaos. Then we go home with no consequence bearing on the plot whatsoever bar that one flashback. To be frank, when it comes to Big's gameplay, I mean, what hasn't already been said, really? It's insanely unintuitive and infuriating. There's nothing really redeeming about it, and the music is just so ear-grating. We start with the ending of Eggman finding Chaos after he was bullied by a big purple cat. We see Knuckles hanging around with the Master Emerald and most of the Chaos Emeralds, which are now inconspicuously glowing. Chaos claps the two of them and then yoinks all the emeralds before Sonic and Tails can get there. Sonic has one last flashback of the Echidnas in the Red Light District and what that's in there. They did something to upset Chaos, and whatever it was, that man was so angry he set water on fire. This instance brings us back to today, where Chaos, now souped up with every single Chaos Emerald and the Master Emerald, has become perfect Chaos. In his first act, he destroys Station Square, flooding it. Sonic absorbs what's left in the Chaos Emeralds and he takes him down. Sonic destroys the big scary Waterman, and all that's well ends well. To be honest with you, while I have crapped on many qualities, these nice two things are pretty good. First off, the level themes. The level themes in this game are honestly pretty fun for the most part. Quite a few of the designs are kind of reminiscent of older Sonic games previously, like Casinopolis kind of comes to mind, but with those old and new like Speed Highway, Emerald Coast, and many others, all these level designs, for the most part, really hit hard. Some of them get kind of confusing by the end. We have multiple different Eggman level gimmicks, like Sky Chase, Hot Shelter, etc., which kind of get a bit repetitive. But overall, I think the level selection is pretty good. And when we go from pretty good to amazing, if there's one big positive takeaway from this game, almost all of the songs in this game, bar a few, are phenomenal. All the Emerald Coast songs, Speed Highway, Windy Valley, Red Mountain, some of the boss themes, the character themes, even though they're a bit cheesy, some of them are still fun. So many good songs in this game. I really enjoy them. One of the best soundtracks in the Sonic franchise, bar none. Here are a couple songs that I think are standouts. many of its aspects do still hit hard, a lot of the negatives just have aged like milk. With that being said, I do think Sonic Adventure 1 isn't necessarily a bad game. It's still fun, but it's not good. I want to give everyone a huge thank you before I close out this video, as my first part on Sonic Adventure 1, released last month, has already reached over 50 views. Now I know that's not a huge accomplishment, but for someone who has only 13 subscribers at the time of this filming, that's pretty crazy, so I thank you all so much. I hope we can continue that momentum into the next month. So, for me, that's...
So you thought you could end this review without me?
Yeah. Yeah, actually. Thumbs doing okay?
It happens all the time. Don't worry.
That's not reassuring. It's actually kind of concerning.
And then...
Oh, I just realized I don't even have something to do next month.
Oh, so you have no idea? I think I got something.
Oh, what do you have in mind?
Don't ask. Just check outside the door.
Ominous, but okay.
Thunder, rain and lightning. Thunder, rain and lightning. Thunder, rain and lightning. It's such a bad. Thunder, rain and lightning. Thunder, rain and lightning. Thunder, rain and lightning. It's us. Thunder, rain and lightning. Thunder.